Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ARCO Change of Command ceremony. Will the guests please rise for the arrival of the official party, the national anthem, and the invocation. ARCO, attend hut. Side boys, post. Lieutenant Commander, United States Navy, arriving. ARCO, arriving. Subron 11, arriving. Captain, United States Navy, arriving. Color Guard, parade the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Walker will now offer the invocation.
Let us pray. God above, we come before your throne today to offer you thanks. We thank you for the opportunity to celebrate this time-honored tradition of passing the spyglass from one commanding officer to another. And we give you thanks for offering us the opportunity to celebrate this special day with the ARCO family. As we welcome Commander Harry to his new position today as our new CO, we ask you for a blessing on his tour. We also ask for a special blessing as we bid farewell to Commander Sims, our shipmate, as he heads across the water to ComNav Air Corps Pack. As he departs, we ask for you to provide him and his family, Carol, Nick, Tanner, Gabby, and Addie, in the same manner you have for 26 years protection. From those early days as he spent as a machinist mate on the Stonewall Jackson to this very moment, you have guided him through the sea as he has led men and women. We simply ask now you continue to be faithful to the same. Now as we begin the ceremony today, continue to offer us your grace and blessing, and show us each of us through our traditions of old a glimmer of the privilege we have to serve our nation as sailors. Use today as a reminder of why we each join, and let it instill in each of us the pride we bear of the title shipmate. We ask now for all these things as we begin today in your holy name. Amen.
Will the guests please be seated? Bosun, post aside, boys. Change of command. The tradition you are witnessing today is an honored product of rich heritage of naval tradition. Custom has established that this ceremony be formal and impressive, designed to strengthen that respect for authority vital to any military organization. Parading all hands at quarters and public reading of official orders stems from those days when movement of mail and persons was a very slow process. This procedure was designed to ensure that not only authorized officers held command, and that all on board were aware of its authenticity. The heart of the ceremony is the formal reading of official orders by the relieving officer and the officer being relieved. Command passes upon the utterance by the relieving officer, "I relieve you, sir," and the officer being relieved responding, "I stand relieved." The change of command is unique in the world today in that it is the transfer of total responsibility, authority, and accountability from one individual to another. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Commander Kevin Sims, Commanding Officer, ARCO.
Good morning. Works good there, chaps. Commodore Davies, Captain Warner, Captain Labono, their fellow commanding officers, family, friends, and shipmates, thank you for taking the time out of your day to celebrate this occasion with me, my family, and my crew. It gives me great pleasure to introduce today's guest speaker. Captain Gene Doyle is a native of Great Falls, Montana, and a graduate of Montana State University with a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. Captain Doyle's initial sea tours included Division Officer in USS Birmingham, Engineer Officer in USS Henry M. Jackson, and Executive Officer in USS Springfield. Captain Doyle commanded USS Alexandria from 2008 to 2011, where he completed 2 overseas deployments. His crew earned the Battle Efficiency E Awards in 2008 and 2010. Ashore, Captain Doyle served as Operations Analyst at Headquarters, Navy Recruiting Command, and as Squadron Material Officer for Submarine Squadron 17 on the Joint Staff J5. During his shore assignments, he earned master's degrees in engineering management and national security studies. Following command of Alexandria, Captain Doyle served as Deputy Commander Submarine Development Squadron 12, Special Assistant for Fleet Matters to Naval Reactors, and Commander Submarine Squadron 11. Captain Doyle reported in March 2016 as Chief of Staff for Commander Submarine Force U.S. Pacific Fleet. Captain Doyle is authorized to wear the Legion of Merit 3 awards, the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, the Meritorious Service Medal 2 awards, the Joint Service Commendation Medal, the Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medal 5 awards, and Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal 2 awards, as well as many unit and campaign awards. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Gene Doyle.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me welcome you to San Diego, America's finest city, and welcome you also to Naval Base Point Loma, which is the home of Submarine Squadron 11 and the world's finest submariners, and supporting commands. Man, look at this place. You gotta love it. What a setting. Point Loma, right underneath the tip of a 7,000-ton vessel in this dry dock. It's magical. Kevin, thanks for inviting me to speak today. Any chance I can come to Point Loma, I'll take it. Now, let me start by welcoming Kevin's family, his wife Carol, his daughter Gabby, his sons Tanner and Nick's wife Gabby, and their granddaughter Addie. Thanks for being here to celebrate this special day with Kevin. I'd also like to welcome Zach's family, including many that came a long way to be with him to help him celebrate. His wife Marilyn, his daughter Ruby, his son Zach Jr., his grandson Aiden, and a big group all the way in from Louisiana, grandmother Edgy, mother Donis, mother-in-law Elnora, sister Tiffany, and aunt Inez. Let me be the first to welcome you to the Submarine Squadron 11 and to the ARCO family. And thank you in advance for all you're going to do to support Zach during this very demanding tour. To those involved in preparing for and coordinating today's ceremony, thank you very much. CMC Jennings, the ARCO, and her crew look great. We greatly appreciate all the effort that went in to make this occasion so special. Commanding officers, active duty and veteran men and women, supporters of our submarine force, and the outstanding crew of the ARCO, thank you for joining us in celebration for these two men and their families today. It is an honor to be here as your guest speaker for this time-honored ceremony, a celebration that formally transfers command and authority from one officer to another. And this is the 18th time it will have happened on ARCO. And it gives me even more greater honor to be on the stage with both Kevin and Zach here. Men who have devoted their adult lives to the defense of this nation. In fact, the combined service between these two officers is 52 years. An amazing 52 years of selfless devotion to the operation and maintenance of our submarine and aircraft carrier forces. It should come as no surprise to anyone that these two officers constitute the elite of the LDO community. To be selected to command the ARCO means that you have had the tough jobs and have performed exceedingly well at them. It is a safe bet that you both were selected from at least 50 of your LDO competitors. That puts you in the top 2% of your community. You both are the elite of the elite. And before I speak about the terrific accomplishments of the ARCO and her crew under the leadership of Kevin Sims over the last 2 years, I think it's important to share some thoughts on the great national treasure we are standing on today. In today's incredibly resource-constrained environment, it is critical for all of us associated with the submarine force to truly appreciate the capability and the flexibility the ARCO brings to the fleet. The ARDM-5 class medium auxiliary repair dry dock, ARCO, was laid down in May of 1983 at the Todd Pacific Shipyards in Seattle. She was launched in December 1984 and delivered to the Navy in Bremerton in February of 1986. And later that year, she was brought to San Diego and placed in service with Commander Richard Riddle as the OIC. Her first submarine dry docking was the USS La Jolla in March of 1987. And since then, she has docked 25 nuclear-powered submarines, 1 diesel submarine, a research vessel on numerous occasions, and a whole host of other vessels, including floating cranes, barges, assault craft, torpedo retrievers, and even big parts from other dry docks, believe it or not. In total, over 150 docking events. And as you see here today, the USS Oklahoma City docked, I think just last week, just the latest in a long line of successful docking events safely executed by the past and present crews of the USS, or the ARCO, ARDM-5. If you do a quick Google search for ARCO, you'll see something like this pop up. It says the San Diego-based ARCO floating dry dock is used to raise submarines and ships out of the water for maintenance. And this process of dry docking naval vessels requires precise attention to detail and long hours. Now, having seen this evolution multiple times from that building right up there, I'll testify to the attention to detail and the long hours it takes. And while this Google search result may be accurate, it completely falls short of describing how complex an evolution like docking a submarine really is. I mean, look at this. 7,000 tons of vessel sitting on wooden blocks, high and dry out of the water.
It's an amazing. If you want to get a glimpse into how a docking is executed, you should watch the time-lapse video that the Public Affairs Office put on for USS San Francisco late last year, early last year, docking on YouTube. It's truly fascinating. But even that video doesn't show you the hours upon hours of painstaking practice, planning, and preparation the crew of the ARCO, the crew of the docking ship, and the crew of Portsmouth Naval Shipyard undertake to make one of these events go safely, smoothly, and on time. And leading these efforts for the past 2 years is a man that was an absolute critical element in every success of the ARCO team. Under Kevin's leadership, the crew of the ARCO has an incredible record of accomplishment. During the past 2 years, ARCO herself underwent a servicecraft overhaul. Just dealing with the maintenance broker, Kevin, was difficult enough. I know that was very challenging. In addition, Kevin's team essentially refurbished all of the most challenging out-of-way areas on the ARCO, and as a result, ARCO will be good to go for supporting docking availabilities for many years to come. The crew then docked at Quezon from a dry dock over at the Naval Base San Diego and assisted in the refurbishment of that critical piece of naval infrastructure that hadn't been out of the water literally since World War II, I think. ARCO then docked the USS San Francisco under emergent and time-sensitive conditions, and I would remind everybody here that San Francisco is right now on deployment, doing the nation's business in faraway places. And that would not have been possible had it not been for ARCO, had ARCO not been ready to provide the services that San Francisco so desperately needed. And under Kevin's leadership, ARCO then docked the USS Pasadena for an extended period late last year that ran into this year, where she did one of the most complex maintenance tasks that submarines do. And now, as you can see, USS Oklahoma sits safely on the blocks, so vital maintenance can get done on her and we can get her back to doing the nation's work. Mind you, Oklahoma City isn't home ported here in San Diego. She's a Guam boat. She came all the way from there to San Diego to be able to enjoy what ARCO provides. That is flexibility for the fleet. About 3 years ago, the submarine force decided, due to some fiscal constraints, that the crew of the ARCO wouldn't just be responsible for docking ships. She would take the responsibility of one of our torpedo retrievers, in fact, one of the few remaining torpedo retrievers in the Navy's register. And in October of 2014, Kevin and his team began the process of learning how to operate and maintain the TWR-6 Devil Ray. And it wasn't always easy, and there were literally a few bumps in the road, or maybe I should say rocks. But in typical Kevin Sims fashion, the transition was safely, efficiently, and effectively done. Without the efforts of Kevin and his team, none of Commander Submarine Force's Pacific Fleet's midshipman operations in the Pacific would have been completed, because the TWR provides the necessary security and force protection for those midshipman operations, and that for the midshipmen to get to and from our submarines operating in the Southern California area. The ARCO crew expertly completed all of TWR's missions throughout 2015, and we have every confidence at Submarine Force Pacific Fleet that they will meet the mark again in 2016 and beyond. Beyond all of his mission accomplishments, I stand in awe most of Kevin's leadership skills. Kevin knows his crew's strengths and weaknesses. He knows when to apply the gas and when to tap the brakes. And in his typical selfless fashion, when I asked Kevin for a list of his accomplishments over the last 2 years, the first thing he quoted me was that his crew had 32 undesignated seamen rated or selected for A School, that they had 43 advancements, 26 re-enlistments, and 5 sailors were selected for special programs. And then he took particular pride in the fact that his crew had completed thousands of hours of volunteer work for both the Cabrillo Elementary School and the Habitat for Humanity. Kevin, on behalf of Rear Admiral Rogie and the entire Pacific Submarine Force and everyone gathered here today, I thank you and congratulate you on a job well done. Your performance has been outstanding. You led your team well throughout your tenure. And I wish you the best of luck on the journeys that lie ahead. And your next command is obviously lucky to have such a superb officer at their disposal. And I look forward to hearing great things about your future accomplishments. And to the Sims family, you have much to be proud of today. Not just of Kevin's successes, but also of the terrific selflessness that you have demonstrated in allowing Submarine Force to take up so much of his time and have him spend more time with his ARCO family than sometimes your own. And the submarine force thanks you for your deep understanding and unwavering support. Now to Zach Harry. Welcome aboard to the Squadron 11 family and to San Diego. I'm glad you found your way here, especially after your challenging tour as a PMA, Production Management Assistant, on the USS Emory S. Land, a tour that I'm sure has set you up well to succeed here. Congratulations on your selection to this prestigious and challenging assignment. This billet will be nothing like you have ever faced. But I am confident that you are more than prepared to lead the men and women of ARCO. And to the Harry family, welcome again to America's finest city. And welcome to the ARCO and Submarine Squadron 11 families. I wish you and your family all the best as Zach faces this great new challenge. We all stand ready to support you and thank you for your continued support of Zach, of our submarine force, and our Navy. And to the crew of the ARCO, job well done. As I look around, I see a very proud crew, and rightfully so. You have proven repeatedly that failure is not an option. I am proud of each and every one of you. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the submarine force and the United States.
Ladies and gentlemen, to present the award to Lieutenant Commander Sims, Captain Brian Davies, Commander, Submarine Squadron 11. ARCO, attention to award. Commander, Submarine Force, United States Pacific Fleet. The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Meritorious Service Medal to Lieutenant Commander Michael Kevin Sims, United States Navy, for the service as set forth in the following citation. For outstanding meritorious service as commanding officer, ARCO, Artem 5, from May 2014 to May 2016. Lieutenant Commander Sims consistently performed his demanding duties in an exemplary and highly professional manner. Demonstrating leadership excellence and superb maintenance expertise, he significantly enhanced and improved the ship's operational proficiency and mission readiness to ensure flawless execution of 11 complex docking evolutions, which included 2 short-notice emergent dockings. An inspirational and dynamic commanding officer, he led the ship in the transition of operational control and the initial crew training and qualification of torpedo weapons retriever Devil Ray. This ensured over 150 days of safe navigation and recovery in support of tactical range training for air, surface, and submarine launch practice torpedoes, submarine pre-deployment training, and surface submarine force protection on the Southern California offshore range. Additionally, his crew executed over 500 hours of precision crane lifts in support of 3 submarine availabilities to include mast, antenna, propeller removal, and replacements, and critical nuclear lifts during ensuring each submarine was returned to its full operational status. Furthermore, his superb leadership and management resulted in the ship earning the 2014 and 2015 Battle Efficiency E Awards. By his exceptional professional ability, personal initiative, and total dedication to duty, Lieutenant Commander Sims reflected great credit upon himself and upheld the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. For the President, signed, F.J. Rogie, Rear Admiral, United States Navy. ARCO, be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Commander Kevin Sims.
Well, good morning again. Captain Doyle, thank you very much for those kind words. And yes, I am also in awe of the accomplishments of this great group of fine men and women that are seated behind you. There, I will say I was kind of hoping to hear the VX nerve gas analogy there from the movie The Rock. But one of Captain Doyle's famous quotes is, "The second you don't respect this, it kills you." There, Nick Cage in the movie is speaking of the VX nerve gas, and the captain is speaking of the sea. It's a great quote and a great movie. There, my wife Carol always hates it when I see it on the channel guide because she knows that we're going to watch it. Ironically, Nick Cage is actually our command mascot. So Nick is a sea lion that likes to swim in between the wing walls each time that we do a dunking evolution, and so we've nicknamed him Nick Cage. There, Anybody guess why? Another one of Nicholas's movies? National Treasure, exactly. National Treasure, our motto. One time he even climbed the aft ladder and almost made it all the way to the top of the wing wall. We weren't sure what we were going to do if he made it to the top. Speaking of movies, did you know that ARCO had a cameo in The Hunt for Red October? Everybody know that? So in one of the early scenes, see Jack Ryan walks into the dock base and someone tosses him a hard hat. He looks up at Skip Tyler, who has a deep submergence rescue vehicle, or DSRV, suspended from one of the cranes. And Skip is yelling at the crane crew to slow down. Does that sound familiar first? So, at the time, USS Blueback was in the dock conducting an availability, which looks about like what you see here with Oklahoma City. By Hollywood standards, is not very dramatic. Doesn't make for good TV. So they came in and added steam and smoke and sparks flying everywhere. So you ought to check it out. Check the movie out, and you can see that's not what it really looks like when we're conducting an availability in the dock. There, so I think we'll have to watch that again tonight. There, babe. They're just in tribute. Sorry, that's not our favorite movie either. So she doesn't think Die Hard is a Christmas movie either, so her judgment is somewhat questionable. Good thing she has good judgment in men. Seriously, Captain Doyle, I thoroughly enjoyed working with both you and Commodore Davies as Squadron 11 commanders, and I sincerely thank you for coming all the way from Hawaii to be here today. So, welcome to ARCO. This is it. I'd like to thank a few other personnel for showing up. Some shipmates from the past. We've got former ARCO CO Max Schmidt. I've been sitting there for the last 20 minutes trying to figure out who that Grizzly Adams looking guy was sitting next to Christy. Happy retirement. I've got one of my former bosses there, Captain John Lavono from Stormac. Thank you for coming, Captain. There, I've got some shipmates from my first submarine. We served together back in 1991 on Stonewall Jackson. There, we got now San Diego City Attorney Michael Cosgrove, retired Master Chief. There, and you all know Naris Lankford, the Radiological Controls Director here at NRMD. Yeah, thanks for showing. As well as I got Mark Warner, one of my shipmates, and who helped me out when I was on Truman. So thank you all for coming. Hopefully by now you've seen in our program that the name ARCO is not an acronym, nor is it a chain of gas stations, but it's the name of a small city in central Idaho with a deep history of supporting the Navy, the submarine force, and our nuclear power heritage. Now, you're not likely to just find yourself passing through ARCO, but you'll know you are there when you see a submarine sail, the ex-USS Hawkbill, along the side of Highway 26. Carol and I visited last summer for their annual Atomic Days Festival. There's a guy there, Dr. Clay Condit, who retired from the Idaho National Laboratory and one of the early nuclear power pioneers. And he's the curator of the Idaho Science Center and the Hawkbill Memorial. He's a brilliant man, a funny guy as well. So I asked him how he managed to get a submarine sail. He replied, "I just asked for it." So he asked for it, they brought it out in 3 trailers, and there's a Hawkbill Memorial now along the side of Highway 26 in the middle of the desert. So if you're ever in the Idaho Falls area, it's worth the 30-minute trip west to visit this great city of ARCO. Just make sure you stop at Pickles Place and get an atomic burger while you're there. So 2 years. 2 years, it's gone by fast. I can't believe how fast it's gone. I really wish I could stay, and it's not too late, Zach, if you want to let me hang around for a little longer. But 2 years ago, I humbly stood on the stage and I relieved Commander Mike Thompson, and I'm even more humbled today as I turn over command to Commander Zach Harry. Although we're the ones who get to stand before you today, the last 2 years has been about those sailors who are seated behind you. Nothing that ARCO or Devil Ray has accomplished could have been possible without those outstanding young men and women. Being a career Navy nuke, I've had the opportunity to work with some of the best and brightest sailors the Navy has to offer. And every one of those sailors seated behind you is certainly included into that category. In fact, I have never worked with a harder working and more dedicated group than these sailors. These young men and women give their best day in and day out, and with some having an uncertain future. They face the real challenges of less than 20% promotion opportunities in their rates, which sometimes leads to higher tenure. forced conversion, and denied reenlistment requests. My most frustrating times during the last 10 years have been saying goodbye to a sailor who wanted to, and most certainly deserved to, continue to serve their country. About half of the crew comes here after long sea tours on our ships and squadrons. The other half comes straight from boot camp or race school. And this is a challenging tour for both groups. For the sea returnees, standing 6-section duty and going to sea on a torpedo retriever is not exactly what they thought shore duty was going to be all about. For the new sailors, they expected to be haze gray and underway, not just haze gray. Fighting the enemy and seeing the world. I would tell each of them at the check-in that although there are no floating dry docks on any Navy recruiting posters or any commercials there, even though I think there should be, that they should take this opportunity to learn as much as they can, and in turn they will be far better prepared when they do finally step on their first ship, having had this experience. Most of them have taken that advice and risen to the occasion, with the majority of the sailors reporting to their first ship as a petty officer in less than 2 years, some even second-class petty officer. From seaman to second-class petty officer in 2 years is a significant accomplishment. Regardless of their background or previous duty stations, each of them reports with no dry docking experience, no crane experience, and no torpedo retriever experience. And the leadership team is challenged to make experts out of each of them, and in a very short time period, and they do it better than anyone else around. So I'm going to take the next few minutes and introduce you to my crew. I'll ask each of them to stand up and be recognized as I call out their department or division. My largest and most junior department is Deck Department. Deck Department. Thank you. Deck Department is led by my first lieutenant, Lieutenant Philip Della Ventura, Ship's Bosun, Senior Chief Bosun Mate Ki'i Kolo, Deck LCPO and Devil Ray Craftmaster, Chief Bosun Mate McGuire, and Deck Leading Petty Officer Bosun Mate First Class Ferguson. It's a phenomenal challenge that this group has, and they do it outstanding. The remainder of Deck Department consists of 16 rated bosun mates and 26 deck seamen. Deck Department's most role is bringing a submarine or other vessel into and out of the dock. It takes a team of 54 line handlers, 2 capstan operators, and 2 wing wall supervisors to accomplish that evolution, and they make it look easy. Just check out that YouTube video Captain Doyle mentioned, and you'll see it for yourself. We are one of the only dry docks that does not use a trolley type of a system that keeps the boat on center while hauling it in or out. And as you can see, there's not a lot of room for error, and these sailors do it with precision. I was recently at a dry dock safety conference in Charleston, and I was surprised that the most frequent dry dock accident we discussed was losing control of the vessel and the vessel impacting the dry dock walls. I was very proud to let all of them know how well this group of professionals that I have performs the evolution, and invited each of them to San Diego to watch them in action. Besides the dry docking, crane operations are our most important service to the submarine repair effort. Within their first 60 days on board, these sailors are already part of a crane crew providing support to the shipyard and ensuring each lift is conducted safely. And I'm proud to say they have had a perfect safety record, completing hundreds of hours of crane operations in the last 2 years, lifting everything from large valves and enclosures, submarine masts and antennas, and the most complex and heaviest lift we do with a submarine propeller. Deck also performs the preservation of both ARCO and Devil Ray, and will very soon paint the whole of the Oklahoma City. Over the last 2 years, they have chipped away and repainted almost every square inch of this dry dock from top to bottom. Not the most exciting work, but vital to keep this 30-year-old dock in operation. And Deck is also responsible for torpedo retriever operations, but I will recognize the Devil Ray crew separately in a few moments. Great job, Deck Department. Thank you for everything you've done. Engineering Department consists of 6 divisions led by my Chief Engineer, Ensign Ryan Clark. Engineering Department is responsible for the maintenance and repair of all ARCO and Devil Ray machinery, electrical distribution, power generation, cranes, navigation and radar equipment, dry dock handling equipment, damage control equipment, and the cradle or blocking systems. A huge footprint of various and unique equipment for such a small group of sailors. Auxiliary Division. Auxiliary Division is led by Senior Chief Engineman Deshane. Thank you. Auxiliary Division is led by Senior Chief Engineman Deshane and Engineman First Class Ballum, and is responsible for all fluid systems on the dry dock. We take on about 3 million gallons of seawater to sink the dry dock from its current draft of 14.5 feet down to 5.4 feet. And of course, we then have to pump all the water off. Auxiliary Division maintains the equipment that accomplishes that feat. A Division also provides the necessary temporary services to the dock boat to keep the systems on board in operation while out of the water. And they also maintain and operate the 650 kilowatt emergency diesel generator, the dry dock drainage collection system, the potable water system, and the auxiliary seawater system. Damage Control and Repair Division. Thank you. Damage Control Division is led by Senior Chief Damage Controlman McCarty and Damage Controlman Second Class Warren, and Repair Division is led by Chief Hull Technician Lee and Hull Technician First Class Jones. And I grouped them because they work very closely together, maintaining all the DC gear and blocking systems on the dock. DC and Repair also construct the entire dry docking cradle. Starting from scratch with about 3,000 board feet of wood, they construct the docking cradle to within an 1/8-inch tolerance. Wood cutting is a lost art in the modern Navy, and although there is a carpenter square on the HT rating badge and a hammer on the DC badge, there's not a lot of wood cutting that is taught in the either A school anymore. Each of them learns on the job here and then trains their relief, and they do a phenomenal job. Electrical Division. Oh, there's more than that. They must all be on duty. Electrical Division led by Chief Electrician's Mate Anilek and Electrician's Mate Second Class Salicki. Electrical Division operates and maintains the electrical distribution and power generation systems as well as the crane electrical systems. Although diesel powered, each crane movement is done by an electrical motor via a series of control cabinets and limit switches. So I'm going to ask Pastor Baxter to stand up again, please. So as the lone electrician here, she is also the command crew counselor. So the accomplishments that the captain spoke of with the sailors being rated, that's all her. I had nothing to do with that. Cranes Division is led by Engineman First Class Young and Machinist Mate Second Class Jacino. Cranes Div. Thank you. They work very closely with the Electrical Division for completing all the crane maintenance and certifications to ensure proper operation of all hoists and limit switches, crane diesel engines, and the remaining mechanical components. Torpedo Retriever Maintenance Division. This is also the crew of the Devil Ray. If you're, the remaining crew of the Devil Ray, go ahead and stand up and you can be recognized. That's everyone? Good. All right, so the maintenance division is led by Devil Ray Chief Engineer, Engineman First Class Collins, and Work Center Supervisor, Engineman Second Class Quigley. You guys can be seated, please. They are responsible for the maintenance and repair of the main propulsion diesel engines, steering systems, diesel generators, navigation and radar, fuel delivery, and torpedo handling systems on the Devil Ray. So we didn't introduce Devil Ray, but this is Devil Ray sitting over here to your left side. TBR 6. Again, these systems are foreign to most sailors previously serving on much larger ships. The sailors who go to sea on Devil Ray come from each department, spending up to 10 days away from Point Loma in the Catalina Channel. As the captain mentioned, in October 2014, we assumed operational control of the Torpedo Retriever from Squadron 11. We knew it was going to be a challenge to train and qualify the initial crew to perform in areas they have little to no experience, as well as to balance their time off, because this is their shore duty, and primary divisional responsibilities here on the dock, because they all came from an individual or from a different division. We had a short transition period with the previous crew, but by the end of November, we were all on our own. What was possibly one of the greatest challenges in ARCO's history has truly been an incredible experience and another example of this phenomenal group of sailors answering the call. In their first 12 months, she completed 104 days at sea, to include 23 trips out to San Clemente Island. There's an island about 75 miles west of Point Loma and part of the Southern California offshore range. They have supported everything from air, surface, and submarine launched exercise torpedo recovery, joint vessel boarding, search and seizure training with the Marines, pre-deployment certification for our submarines here at Squadron 11, and force protection for surface SSBNs out in the Catalina Channel. even once as a catch platform for a surface ship unlaunched unmanned aerial vehicle. I will forever cherish the time spent underway with you and, of course, the great fishing out at San Clemente Island. And yesterday, I spent my final afternoon in command underway with the Devil Ray crew, conducting a final evaluated watch and certifying my CMC as a craftmaster. It's not every day that you get to pin a new qualification on a 30-year Master Chief, and I could think of no better way than to spend my last day. Supply Department. There are more than that, I promise. Supply Department is led by Chief Logistics Specialist McKibben and Logistics Specialist 2nd Class Williams. Supply keeps the entire machine going with the timely delivery of repair and preventative maintenance parts and consumable supplies. They are the unsung heroes of the command who, without any of this, could be possible. And by the way, they just completely blew away the Subpack Supply Inspection team earlier this week during our supply management inspection. Great job, Supply. My admin department is led by Yeoman First Class Sims and YN3 Crossley Phillip. So they keep the pay and personnel records up to date for all the sailors, as well as awards processing, command instruction maintenance, and transfers and receipts, which the latter keeps them really busy due to the high transition rate that we have here at the command. I'm pretty sure there's only about 3 or 4 sailors on board who were here 2 years ago when first time I was on this stage. When it comes to the preparation for and actual docking of a vessel, it takes the work of an entire command to pull that off. But there's one guy at the center of the ring, keeping all the balls in the air and making sure they don't land until he is ready, and that is the docking officer, Lieutenant Mike Newby. It is a tremendous challenge to drive the efforts to dock a submarine and without any sailors directly assigned to you, but he does it with ease. I have truly enjoyed just sitting back and watching you bring it all together. Thanks, Mike. Of course, having such a young and somewhat inexperienced crew requires strong leadership in the Chiefs Mess, and I could not have had a better selection of chiefs to lead this command. Leading them, I have been blessed with 2 of the best Command Master Chiefs any CO could ask for. Master Chief Lira, thank you for coming today. Master Chief Lira. Master Chief is currently serving as CMC for PCU Rafael Peralta, DDG 115. He reported to ARCO as a Senior Chief Bosun Mate, was selected to Master Chief and subsequently the Command Master Chief Program, and selected for the extremely difficult job of being the Command Master Chief of a PCU. Master Chief Jennings reported from successful CMC tours as the Cobb on Jefferson City and the CMC on Emory S. Land. These 2, along with the chiefs they lead, are the real ones responsible for the successes of the crew. I sincerely appreciate and forever grateful for the leadership, guidance, and friendship from both of you. Thank you very much. Last but certainly not least, I want to recognize my XO, Lieutenant Commander Jeff Smith. He has the hardest job on the dock, and that's keeping me in line. Jeff is a phenomenal naval officer and already a leader in his community, and I expect to be at his ceremony in the future as he takes command. Thanks for everything, Jeff. This is kind of surreal. I wasn't really prepared for this. So there are no bad days in command, only different levels of challenges. And in August 2015, our most significant challenge arose. There, we've already heard a little bit about it from the captain. It was a Thursday afternoon. Devil Ray had just returned from her 11th week out at San Clemente, providing force protection support for surface SSBNs, and had only 1 more week to go. While conducting a berth shift, Devil Ray got a little too close to the rocks over here by the ball field there and damaged the starboard propeller. Now, what could have been a mission kill for that last remaining week turned into one of our greatest accomplishments. We docked the Devil Ray in ARCO the next morning, and with tremendous support from the Portsmouth Detachment, led by then PMA Max Schmidt, there BK Bernard and Tom Kish, we replaced the propellers that same evening and then undocked on the following Saturday morning. Got underway on time on Sunday afternoon and made it out to San Clemente. So this is what the San Diego team here does, and nowhere else does that happen. So I'm very lucky to have had the opportunity to command ARCO, but it was a long journey to get to this point. It started 26 years ago. I was going to make it. My beautiful wife, Carol, and our 2-year-old son, Nick, reported to our first duty station in Orlando, Florida. So these two have been with me along the entire way. Gabby was born during a Christmas break while in nuclear power school, also in Orlando, and Tanner was born on our first sea tour in Charleston, South Carolina. 6 years ago, our family grew by 2 when Nick and Gabby were married, and our beautiful granddaughter, Addie, was born. The unwavering support my family has given to our career and our accomplishments is the only reason I am standing here today. The long deployments, missed special events, Carol having to be both mom and dad while I was gone are the realities that each military family has to endure. But she has done it better than most. Shortly after commissioning, when I was serving back-to-back sea tours, first on a carrier and then on a fast attack submarine just like this one, I completed 3 deployments in that first 4 years of being commissioned. And Carol was just tired of being alone and working the odd job at each duty station that we went to, and she decided she was going to put herself through school. So while I was gone at sea and she was playing both mom and dad, she went to school full-time, while working full-time, and put herself through nursing school. These two were teenagers and Tanner preteen, so that was a challenging job alone as it is. So I had the easy job. I had the easy job throughout this entire career. Kids, you already know this, but you have one hell of a mom, and I'm forever grateful to you for allowing me to continue doing what I love. I love you all. So thank you everyone for coming here today. And as my last official request as CO, please join me in a round of applause for the future of our Navy, the men and women of ARCO. I will now read my orders. Buford's Order 1136, when directed by Reporting Senior, detach from ARCO, ARDM 5, and report to Commander, Naval Air Forces, Pacific Fleet.
I will now read my orders. From Commander, Naval Personnel Command, to Zachary Denilius Harry, subject Buford's Order 3365, when directed to detach in March 2016 from AS-39 Maintenance Support Component and report to ARCO ARDM 5. Upon arrival on board, report to CO ARCO ARDM 5 for duty as relief.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Commander Zachary Harry, Commanding Officer, ARCO.
Well, good morning once again. Thank you, Commodore. Well, if I'm having a really good dream right now, just let me savor the moment. And when I wake up, just let me know, But I'm ready for this challenge. It's been quite a journey to get here. Many milestones in my career. I'm very honored to have the opportunity to be ARCO Commanding Officer. It's truly a blessing. want to give a special thanks to my wife, who along the way has been my biggest cheerleader, my biggest critic, and also my better half. So now it's the time for me to have a lot of time to spend with you, since I won't be away on ships. As you all can see, that I'm not a submariner by trade. However, I work with many submariners along the way. OK City, that was my first dry docking way back many years ago in Norfolk. But as ARCO, I will continue providing excellent support to the submarine fleet and all the warfighting assets that come through San Diego throughout my tenure that need our assistance. I'm looking forward to working with all the activities here, and also some now personnel in the Portsmouth Detachment and my old shipmates that now work for the Navy or as contractors. Commander Sims, you've done an excellent job here, and I'll continue to uphold what you've done. Job well done. My hat's off to you. For everyone else, thank you for everything. The ARCO crew, many sailors that have worked for me before, worked along beside me. I've seen grow from non-designated seamen to get here. One, I'll just point out, Pedro Baxter, you were on board ship with me, I think, as a seaman, or actually a fireman, then the third class. I saw that come through, and now you're here as a second class petty officer. So for me, this is the first time that I had the opportunity for my grandmother to actually travel out and see some accomplishments that I've done. Thank you for getting here. It was a little challenge. You know, you didn't really want to make the trip, but thanks once again. And this is one of the greatest accomplishments that I've ever received, and I'm enjoying my family being here with me for that. So I want to leave you with one thing before I thank all my former shipmates. Some people come into our lives and quickly go. Some stay for a while, leaving footprints on our hearts, and we are never the same. And I thank you all for that. So my son Zachary, my mom, my mother-in-law, and my daughter Ruby, and also my aunt Inez, thank you for coming out. And I tell you what, my big brother here, thank you for making that trip from Virginia. It's been a long ride and inspiration. To all the guests, thank you. Once again, I see John, who's a pretty good friend from Reagan. Thank you for all the positive support throughout my career that you guys have provided, and I look forward to continuing on with a successful career. Thank you once again. And for all the travelers, I wish you Godspeed and a safe return home. Thank you.
ARCO at 10 Hut. Docking Officer Michael Newby and Command Master Chief Stephen Jennings will now present Lieutenant Commander Sims with a gift from the officers and crew of the ARCO.
So if you've never seen a 30-year Master Chief before, this is what it looks like.
Leans to the left a little. Will the guests please rise and remain standing for the benediction and departure of the official party?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before your throne once again in closing. Today we've witnessed the passing of command from Commander Sims to Commander Harry, and we have in many ways been reminded of the awesome responsibility we share as the 1% of Americans willing to serve. As a nation for over 239 years, sailors have stood side by side and stared in the face of tyranny and oppression, and we all now share a piece of that legacy. With today's change of command, we once again reaffirm our resolve to protect our waterways and those in the world who cannot stand up and protect themselves. For those that are over the horizon today, we ask for their protection, bring them home, and watch over their families. Bring them home safe, Lord. We thank you again for the time we've spent together, and we ask that you depart with us with your grace. We ask all these things in your holy name. Amen.
Bosun, post the side, boys. Captain, United States Navy, departing. Subron 11, departing. Lieutenant Commander, United States Navy, departing. ARCO, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the change of command ceremony. You are cordially invited to join Lieutenant Commander Sims and Lieutenant Commander Harry for the reception at Smuggler's Cove, which is right over here. We are also going to have a cake cutting in the back for those that are not going to attend the reception over here. Tours of the submarine USS Alexandria will be available from 1100 to 1300. Thank you for your attendance.